Yo, what's up? You're witnessing right now the very start of my YouTube channel. Full disclosure, the production value of this is not going to be the best. All right. I'm going to be spending most of my time just on the drawings and then the portfolio stuff and just more of like the art side of things. This is just going to be more of like a documentation of all of that. And also, I just want to talk about the experience of trying to become an artist in 2025 with the AI stuff, with everything that's going on in the industry. I just think it's such an interesting time to step into these journeys. All right, so I want to talk a little bit about AI automation, just because that seems to be like the biggest concern for people jumping into art in 2025. People that are exploring the idea of becoming full-time artists and people that are trying to land jobs or have been recently laid off. I think we should all be very scared of AI. I think we've seen so many films and so many books, we've read so many books, and there's just so many experts talking about how horrible of an idea this fucking thing is. But at the same time, the idea that's going to be automating jobs and all of that stuff, I don't think that's the fundamental concern that we should be having. It's not really like a discussion of whether or not we're going to have jobs. It's more a discussion of whether or not we're going to be existing as a species in the next 50 years, right? Now, when it comes to like the market, the art industry stuff and you being able to find work, I think that the state of the industry right now, it's not due to AI. It has been the norm in the art industry for many, many years to make you replaceable, to make you redundant, and to find ways to just pay you as little money as possible so that their revenue and their fucking charts just go up, 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 and trying to streamline processes so that they can produce more and more content, because it's all content now. It's not art. It's just, let's make stuff fast and predictable so that we know what we can expect from the public. This is how many eyeballs are going to be on this, and let's try to get those eyeballs as fast as possible. So, is this really a thing about AI being introduced into the picture, or just you stepping into an industry at a time where just white collar workers in general are being pushed out of the fucking middle class and are being pushed out of their skills being sort of valuable in the marketplace, you know? And you really need to think about that. Are you trying to survive this thing, or are you trying to make a philosophical stand with your art? And I think there's room for you if you want to be, like a purist creative, and you can find venues to do that. But if you're trying to eat, if you're trying to make a living as an artist, I don't think that antagonizing AI all the fucking time and trying to make it stop, it's gonna do anything. I don't think that they're gonna care. You can stand in protest with a sign out there, and they're gonna be like, "Oh, all right, I'm still making millions, replacing you and your job." And the thing that we should be trying to do instead is trying to find ways to survive this thing, not really try to find ways to fight it, because there's just no fighting it. It's just the system that we've been living in for so many years. I was working sales and marketing since 2020, so 5 years now. And I was studying also systems engineering for almost 4 years during that time. And what I learned in that time is that those industries are just as scared of AI as people in the art business are. People that do telemarketing, for example, people that do SMMA and CRM consultation, all of that stuff. These are all things that can already be automated. The technology is out there to automate all of these jobs. And people that work doing software development, coders, same shit. You can find like YouTube channels about this. You can go look at people talking about Claude AI and how good it is at coding. And you can go through the comments, and people are going to be talking about, oh my God, I'm just not going to have a job in 2026 and stuff like that. And my thinking around 2019, which is when I decided to go back into university and to find a more stable line of work, I fell victim to the learn how to code meme. I fell victim to it. I thought I was going to be bulletproofing my fucking career. And realizing just how stupid that was and how unemployable of a programmer I was, just because I didn't like it, I wasn't good at it, I decided to just start applying to our jobs again. And Guys, I this is gonna be a controversial take, but the jobs are out there, even in 2025. All right. I can only work remotely because I am from Ecuador and I don't have a college degree. I don't have an art degree. I don't have connections in the industry. I'm from fucking Ecuador. There's no art business in Ecuador. I don't have experience even. And I just started applying to jobs, sending my portfolio and saying, you know what, I do art. Do you need a guy? And around 3 months, I got a couple job offers. I just picked the best one, and now I that's how I sustain myself. That's how I eat full-time art. I have friends that have computer science degrees, and they're very good at like coding and computer stuff and AI shit, and they have been unemployed for over a year. Assuming that switching industries will be easier for you is not necessarily true. And I think that even with the AI, even with the layoffs, even with how everything is right now, you can find a job. There are there is work out there, and there is a place for you. You just need to keep grinding. I'm sorry to burst your bubble here. I know it's not what you want to hear, but I do believe that it is still possible to do it. I did it without a degree. I'm a college fucking dropout. I'm 25 years old. I have no experience in the industry, no connections in the industry, and I am very limited in the types of jobs that I can apply to because I cannot work in studio due to my passport being so fucking weak. I can only work remote jobs. And in the short amount of time that I was looking for the jobs, I got a couple of job offers. So if you were to do this for, let's say, 6 months, and you are in a place where there are more opportunities to go in person, like the US, the UK, or even other places in Europe, then I think it is possible to make it. I think it is possible to find work as an artist and to make a living as an artist. I think it is possible. Right. So one thing is landing your first job. You're gonna be able to make it. All right. In 2025, there is work out there for artists. You're gonna be able to make it. All right. Now, another concern is, will I have a job tomorrow with AI? Will my role even exist as an artist in the future if this technology is getting better and better? And I believe that in the immediate future, there will be jobs for art just because of what I've been seeing in the studios that I've worked at, and the contacts that I've made in the industry and the people that I know are working as artists right now. I know that in the immediate future we will have jobs as designers, as artists, as illustrators, whatever, but they're just gonna be different and not in a good way. All right. The reality is that shipping a product using AI, it's still not possible. You cannot go from prompt to product shipped ready for market in a single prompt. Not yet. The stuff that the AI produces, the assets that AI produces, needs a lot of cleanup, needs a lot of human manipulation in order to be usable for a real product. And whether or not using AI in that process is going to create a better product overall, it's not a debate that I want to have just because it's not useful. It's because it's not, it's just the things that the companies are going to be doing from now on because it's cheaper. And time will tell, and the consumers will tell in the future if that's what sticks or not. And my guess is that it will stick just because people consume fucking whatever, dude. I mean, just take a look at TikTok. People are watching videos of AI monkeys doing shit, and people and Subway Surfers clips and girls shaking their fucking ass and doing silly like pony dances with whatever. I mean, it's just they're just gonna be consuming whatever has the most colors and the quickest cuts. Okay, and your job as an artist is not to try to change the way the human brain works or the masses, the consumer habits of the masses. It's not our job. Your job is to use your skill set to put food on the table. And with your skill set, prompting and cleaning is going to be the future. I'm sorry to tell you. I mean, I know it's not very romantic. It's depressing as shit, maybe. But a viable way to make money in the near future, like probably the next 5 years, it's going to be cleaning up AI stuff. Now, another thing that I wanted to discuss is whether or not it's a good idea to learn how to draw. Because if the jobs in the future are just going to be, cleaning AI, prompting and doing AI stuff, is it just better to learn Comfy UI or how to prompt Midjourney well? Maybe. There is a way in which I would answer this on just the basis of whether or not you like drawing. If you like drawing, learn how to draw. If you don't like drawing, then don't. But looking at this from a practical standpoint, a career fucking practical standpoint, I do believe that just learning this visual language and exploring this technique to understand what your aesthetic sensibilities are, which what your identity as an artist is an incredible tool. A really, really incredible tool. Because learning how to draw is not really intellectual, it's more of a mechanical process on which you have an abstraction, a way to abstract the real world into a visual thing. Just doing thousands and thousands and thousands of drawings from real life, it has you solving so many visual problems all of the fucking time, deconstructing something into value, into volume, into light and shadow. You're just constantly thinking about how I can solve the problem of what I see in nature into something that is an abstraction, an image, into something that is design, into something that is art. And by the time you are using a tool that even is an automation tool, you already have the visual language and the mental capacity to solve problems around the visual design. And I honestly believe that in the future, people that are good at drawing are going to be, it's going to be the differentiator between a good prompter and a good cleanup guy than someone that's just got their artistic identity from Pinterest mood boards. They have an aesthetic board. I just know what my aesthetic is, or just watch the film, and now I have that color palette in my brain. If you're a guy that really like spent thousands of hours developing this language, you're just a different level of understanding of visual design. And when it comes time to create something larger, something bigger that requires for you to actually solve mechanical problems with design, you're going to have such an easier time if you actually know how to draw. I don't know if it's going to be like a requirement for the art jobs of the future. I don't really know, but I don't think it could do you any harm. And if you're a kid that loves to draw right now, just do it. I truly believe that it won't be wasted time, even in 2025. Okay, this brings me to my last point, which is sort of what I think the future is going to look like for art, just in general. Not immediate future or whether or not we're going to find jobs or whatever, but just art in general, the future of art, the future of AI, and the future of my career, and how I think I might be able to bulletproof it. Listen, I'm just a guy with a microphone. I don't have a lot of experience. So take all of what I'm saying with a grain of salt. All right. We're all in this together trying to figure it out. And it's not so easy. But these are just gonna be my thoughts. And you might agree with them or you might not. And it's fine. Okay. I just want to create a discussion around this because I think it's important. And I believe that in the future for artists, just your ideas are going to carry way more value than your abilities to create stuff, and to just thinking design is going to be way more important than actually creating design. What I mean by this is the way you approach your work is going to be research and ideation first, and actually doing the steps to create the product second, just because the skills are going to be less relevant. You know what I mean? We get to a point where studios no longer need us to create any of their shit because they can just prompt AI to do it. We are in a position where we as artists can also use those tools to create our own thing. And across all the industries, I believe that in the future we're going to be seeing an explosion of the one-man business sort of model, just because you can automate so many things right now. The single person business model, so many people can automate so many things. You can automate marketing, you can automate sales, you can automate the accounting, so many things. And if you start thinking about yourself as a business and your art as a business, And I think that in the future, you might be able to go from idea to product way easier. Like if you want to be a comic book guy, or you want to do a film, or you want to do a game, whatever your interest is, you already have a skill set of an artistic vision, an artistic language, a way to think about design and solving problems in an artistic way. And you can use all of this stuff to start creating your own products and your own brand, and start to, branch out of just finding jobs and actually creating just whatever it is that you want to create, and start selling it to the public. Right, so what are the future plans for these videos and for this channel? I'm just gonna be documenting what my journey is. I just think it's so interesting because I basically started this YouTube when I decided to become a full-time artist, and I'm gonna be sharing with you just the ups, the lows, the progress, and the process. And I'm just gonna be sharing with you my thoughts about the industry, what's going on. And these are just interesting times to be doing this. So I think it's gonna be interesting to sort of document this for the future. And also, I think that if there's people out there that are trying to make it as an artist, or just trying to make a living as an artist, or working artists in real time right now, finding this channel might make them feel a little bit less alone, or, just create a discussion around all of these uncertainties about the industry. And I'm just going to be building a portfolio. I'm going to be making a new portfolio just with all of the things I mentioned before in this video in mind. I'm trying to bulletproof my career. I'm trying to make it AI bulletproof. And I'm going to be sharing my thinking behind that, and how I'm going to try to go about that. And at the same time, I'm just going to be practicing drawing and sharing my tips, just more technical stuff, because I still believe in drawing. I still love it. I still do it every fucking day. And I'm going to be sharing that with you because I think it's still important. Listen, if you're like a fucking kid out there that is afraid about AI and the future, and you really, really like drawing, and you think that in the future you might not have a job and you might die of hunger, this has been the case since forever. All right. In 2015, I told my parents I wanted to be an artist. Same fucking feeling. AI was not in the picture there. All right. So it's always difficult, but if you love to draw, if you love to sit in your desk for hours on end just doing your silly little drawings, just do it, man. I mean, you're gonna do it anyways. You're gonna try to pursue a different thing. You might be a lawyer, whatever, and then you're just always gonna pursue that, because people that genuinely fucking love drawing and art, and are into that the way that I am into it. You're just never gonna stop, no matter if the world is burning or whatever. And I really do believe that there will always be human art. I don't care if studios eventually replace all of us, and there is always going to be human art. And if we get to a point where AI is just wipes every fucking human art off Earth, we are gonna have such bigger problems in our hand, in our hands, than whether or not we have jobs. At that point, we're just gonna be plugged into the fucking matrix, or something like that. You're gonna be worrying about whether or not your family has microchips in their fucking brain, stuff like that. That's dystopian shit. All right. So I believe that human art is gonna be around, and we might have to adapt. We might have to do a bunch of shit, but human art will always exist. And yeah, that's it. Anyways, if you like this, consider giving it a like, a subscription, so you can be a part of this journey with me. And I'll see you guys next week. Ciao.